Hello friends, it's me, Shin, and today I'm coming to you from the Silverton Casino where I'm going to Mi Casa Su Casa for dinner. Really happy to have you along. I'll see you inside. All right, everyone, and here I am seated at Mi Casa Su Casa. Those of you who watch the channel know that I am a resident here at the Silverton. This is my home casino. This is where I come to play all my games, and I've eaten at all of their restaurants with comps many times over. Now, the majority of my dining happens at the Sundance Grill, but I will say that Mi Casa is a high-ranking favorite of mine. Now, this is a Mexican grill and cantina as well as a sushi restaurant. Mi Casa handles the Mexican fare, and Su Casa does the sushi here. I've been here a handful of times. I've actually only tried the Mexican food, and so today I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Japanese fare is like. This is a beautiful restaurant, by the way. Natural wooden tones with a lot of Latin decorative pieces and wooden fixtures. I love the vibe in here. Now, regardless of the vibes, you know it's all about the food for me, so let's take a look at what they have to eat on the menu. Okie dokie, so we have two menus here at Mi Casa Su Casa. Let's take a look at Su Casa first. This is, of course, their sushi stuff. This is all of the starters. Let me see if I can get you out of the glare here a little bit. I guess that's gonna do. Miso, seaweed salad, shrimp tempura, and the like. All very nice. Continuing on, they have bowls and burritos here. Looks like they have poke bowls, as well as sushi burritos. Very nice. Sushi and sashimi here. Traditional rolls. And nigiri here. And your sashimi down here. Here's your list of signature rolls. They have some fried rolls here. Spicy crab, surf and turf, lobster. This all looks really good. They also have noodles and entrees. There's actually a lot here. I did not realize they had this much Japanese fare. They have ramen and udon, pork belly and kaibi, bento boxes. Wow, this is interesting. And then here's your selection of beer, your sake selection here. Feel free to take a pause in the video if you'd like to take a closer look at these drinks. And some dessert down here. Ooh, honey toast. That looks good. And that's the menu at Su Casa. Now, there were a lot more Japanese options than I was expecting to find. I thought it was just going to be more of a sushi bar here. Let's take a look at what they have for Mexican food next. All right, so here is the leather-bound menu here at Mi Casa. I love this. All right, so here are lobster and mango guacamole. That looks really good. Quesadilla tacos. And Tres Reyes molcajete for two. And then that brings us to a tequila list. Feel free to take a pause again if you'd like to take a closer look at these drinks. More tequila down here. Let's take a flip of the page. And we have some specialty cocktails. And margaritas down here. Now it is a school night, well, a work night. I got work in the morning, so I'm not gonna be doing any drinking tonight, but some bottled cerveza, some beer here, as well as what you have on draft, and your wine as well. Some sangrias here, both your red and white. Very nice. So, now that brings us to the food. Guacamole, ceviche, and oysters. Okay, so we've got some seafood options here, a raw bar. And then your appetizers here, nachos, tostaditas, taquitos. That looks nice. Here are your salad and soups. Definitely can go for a nice chicken tortilla soup today. Oh yeah, sure. And then here is, and moving on over, here are your salad and soups. Oh, chicken tortilla soup sounds really good today. Burritos, as well as fajitas down here. Take another flip here. And we have tacos and enchiladas. And we also have some Mexican combinations down here. You can do 2 items or 3 items. That should make it easy to show some variety. And then here are your specials. Looks like a sizzling carnita, steak tan pequeña. That sounds really good. A chile relleno, carne asada. Very nice. Sides here, you got guacamole and refried beans. And that's the menu. Okay, I gotta admit, I'm pretty torn between both the Japanese and Mexican fare. A lot I'm looking forward to trying today. And you know how it goes in my videos. Every restaurant is a buffet if you're willing to pay. So I'm gonna get a nice variety, and together we'll see what Mi Casa Su Casa is all about. Appetizers are coming up first. I'll see you in a little bit when they arrive. And welcome back, everyone. It's time for some appetizers, and to kick things off, chips and salsa. Chips and salsa is such a staple at Mexican restaurants, and I've had this particular set of chips and salsa many times over, and I can tell you off the bat, it's very good. You're served the trio salsas with homemade chips. I do like all 3. Here's the mildest. Yeah, that's good. I gotta tell you off the bat, the tortilla chips here are fantastic. A fabulous crunch, a robust corn flavor, just a little bit rich from the fry job as well. It's really good here. Now the mild salsa is a very approachable salsa. Not too spicy, just a little bit of kick. In general, it actually leans toward the sweet side. A natural sweetness from those tomatoes are very bright here, with some acid in there as well, a nice splash of lemon, well seasoned, a nice mild and approachable salsa. The salsa verde is their medium salsa, and I recall this being good also. Let's see if it lives up to my memories. Yes, that's tasty. Just slightly more spicy than their mild salsa, but the roasted tomatillo flavor here is very prevalent. A little bit smoky also from those roasted tomatillos, with a bit of a garlic note on the back end. I think the acid might be a little heavy-handed today in the salsa verde, but overall still very nice. Now me personally, I happen to love their spiciest salsa the best. Hopefully this is as good as I remember. Oh, that's very good. Now I say it's their spiciest salsa, but I wouldn't classify it as a spicy dish. It's still very approachable. This particular salsa is a roasted chipotle pepper salsa, and I really love that additional smoky savoriness that comes from those chipotle peppers. Just a little bit more complex, a little bit more depth here, and certainly spicier than the mildest salsa. It was my favorite of the 3 before, and it still is today. I really like the chips and salsa here. Alrighty, and the rest of the appetizers just got here. This is looking really good. Let me give you a view. I got an order of beef taquitos, as well as a cup of their chicken tortilla soup, a bowl of their elote corn, and some avocado fries. I actually haven't tried any of these, so I'm really looking forward to it. Let's give it a try. First off, chicken tortilla soup. A beautiful brown red hue to this, and you would not believe the aroma coming off this soup. Let's give it a taste. Oh yeah, that's tasty. There are a lot of really great elements on this chicken tortilla soup. I can't even call this a broth, it's so thick. More of a gravy. This is really satisfying to eat. A smoky heat from some stewed down chilies, with a relatively savory spice blend rounding things out. There's a certain similarity to an American chili with beans, although it's a tad more smoky and certainly more spicy. I love the addition of the corn. The natural sweetness comes in little bursts of flavor throughout the bite, and the chicken in the soup is actually quite nice as well. A tad on the stringy side, but I think that's to be expected when it's stewing in a soup, but it is still well seasoned. You can actually make out its distinct flavors. The crispy tortilla strips provide a little bit of additional texture crunch, and there's a little bit of a crema here providing richness. A great bowl of chicken tortilla soup. I like this one. Next up, the elote corn. I'm a huge fan of elote corn when done well, and from first glance, this is already looking incredible. Here's the elote corn in Mi Casa. Oh, that is really good. I'm gonna have to really ask myself the last time I had elote corn better than this, because nothing is immediately coming to mind. This particular appetizer has so much depth and so much good flavor. The initial bite is quite savory. The salinity from the cheese here is the first thing that you taste, which is nice because it's not what you're expecting eating corn. The saltiness then gives way to the natural sweetness of the corn, and it is a very robust flavor here. The flavor of that corn shines through so well, and not only is it naturally sweet, but it has some toasty edges providing a smokiness to the flavor profile. Speaking of smokiness, you do actually have some grilled peppers in here as well. That's adding a lot of flavor in the middle of the bite. A bit of a spicy and caramelized sweetness there. It's really good. An appropriate amount of lime here provides some freshness, and you also have some raw onion providing a little bit of bite. It comes together wonderfully. This is such a balanced and complex dish. I'm gonna have to be careful because I'm finding it really hard to stop. I have so many more dishes to go through. I better put this down. That might be some of the best elote corn I've had in a really long time. That was super enjoyable. Next up, avocado fries. Now, when I first read the menu item, I thought this was gonna be something more like carne asada fries topped with guacamole, but we're talking about some actual just deep fried avocados here. Served alongside a sauce. I'll give it a bit of a dip. Let's see how it is. Yeah, not bad. Now, I do have to say there's a fantastic crunch when it comes to these avocado fries. These panko breadcrumbs have a perfect crisp on them. I absolutely love the fry job here. And the breading also has a bit of a nutty flavor to it. That's actually quite good. Now, the avocado is rich and creamy. However, it's wholly untransformed. I don't even think it's been seasoned. I think even a light application of salt before applying the breading and frying would have made a pretty big difference here. We have something like a chipotle mayonnaise sauce here, and it's very good. Very rich and creamy with a slightly spicy kick to it. A little bit of essence of garlic in there as well. It is a very nice sauce. I think if the avocados were salted before the frying, this would have been a lot better. Okie dokie, and the last appetizer I'm trying today is going to be the taquito. You have a choice between beef or chicken, and I went with beef today. It's also covered in guacamole, some pico de gallo, as well as sour cream. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that's good. I really like biting into this taquito. A really satisfying crunch to that deep fried tortilla. Not only did I enjoy the crispy texture, but you definitely get its corn flavors here as well. This shredded beef inside is quite nice. It's quite tender and soft. Unfortunately, not super juicy. It's a tad on the dry side, but it is incredibly well seasoned. There's a deep smoky and savory flavor to this beef. You can tell that this beef has been braising in something flavorful. The guacamole on top is nice. An additional creamy richness there with some cooling from the sour cream. All of this comes together well. Not a bad taquito, that's pretty good. All right, everyone, now that's all of the appetizers I'm trying today. A couple more bites, I'm gonna box this all up to go, and then I think we'll try some of the Japanese menu from Su Casa. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. My Japanese food just got here and this is looking really good. Let me give you a view. I got an order of their ahi poke nachos, as well as their ramen bowl, a barbecue kalbi burrito, miso glazed sea bass, and the namesake Su Casa sushi roll. I'm actually really intrigued by this. Let's give it a try. First up, the miso glazed sea bass. Those of you who watch the channel long enough know I love miso glazed sea bass, one of my favorite recipes. And as many times as I've been here at Mi Casa, I didn't even know this was an option. Hopefully it's good. Here's the miso sea bass. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'd say this is a fairly standard execution. A decent quality fish here. Not the best, certainly not the worst. It does have a nice mild flavor. While the flesh is still firm and flaky, unfortunately, it is a tad on the dry side, but not too much of an issue given that a sea bass is such a rich fish. The richness is certainly present here, and I do like their miso soy glaze, a nice deep smoky umami there, with a nice bit of sweetness. Although I do think the ginger was a tad heavy-handed, there's quite a bit of bite at the end and the aftertaste. The sea bass was still quite enjoyable though, I like this. Next up, we're going in on the ramen. Never knew they had ramen here. And this is pretty involved looking, a lot of different toppings. But I think I'm just gonna go with chashu pork, the classic. Here's the ramen from Su Casa. You know, unfortunately, I can't say I'm a big fan of this one. Now, I'll start with the good. The noodles themselves here are quite nice. A firm chew to them. And you get a bit of that starchy flavor. Relatively neutral, though. I do like the ramen noodles. The chashu pork was good. Tender, fatty, and succulent, with a little bit of a smoky flavor to it. The pork here was quite nice. Now, unfortunately, I can't say I'm a really big fan of the broth here. It's a little bit watery, kind of on the thin side. Usually I like my ramen broth to be just a tad thicker than water. Usually it's a testament to how much pork collagen and bone is rendered into that broth. And unfortunately, it's not all too robust here. Now, the flavor that is very forward-facing in this particular broth is the bacon. And for me, unfortunately, it is a little bit off-putting. And I am talking about just a straight, salty, smoky bacon here. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad flavor, it's just not one that is conducive to ramen for me. When it comes to various ramen variants, this is just not my style. However, if a bacon-like broth is enticing to you, this might be the ramen that you'll enjoy. Okie doke, next up, ahi poke nachos. A nice looking tuna nacho served on top of wonton chips. Let's see how it is. Okay, that's tasty. Now this one is really interesting. Right off the bat, initially I did not like the flavors. There's a truffle oil at play here that in the beginning of the bite was very overpowering. I was expecting to only find truffle in the entire tasting. However, I was pleasantly surprised when that flavor quickly dissipated into the sweetness of the eel sauce. A nice, smoky, sweet and salty eel sauce was able to quickly neutralize a lot of the pungent nature of that truffle oil. The balance came quickly and I was very appreciative of that. The wasabi mayo here provides a little bit of richness and some bite, although I wouldn't say its flavors are too pronounced. And the ahi tuna here does have a nice mild flavor with a fresh, firm texture. A little bit of an additional brininess from the nori, and a little bit of accent kick coming from the green onions. This is coming together very nicely. I'm enjoying this. A nice little ahi poke nacho dish here. I like this. Next up, the kalbi burrito. When I first ordered this, I was expecting the flour or corn tortilla, but we're using nori here. And at first glance, this looks a little bit more like bulgogi than kalbi to me, but only one way to find out what it really is. Here's the kalbi burrito. Yeah, not bad. Not a bad little burrito here. In Korean cuisine, we would call this kimbap, effectively just seaweed rice. But all in all, not bad. I do like the rice here at Su Casa. A little bit springy, not too wet or gummy. A solid rice. The nori here is just fine. Pliable with an ocean briny flavor. That's all good. There's something like an Asian slaw in here, and it's pretty good. Fresh, crisp cabbage provides a nice bit of texture, and a very nutty dressing, sesame being the very forward-facing flavor. I guess looks can be deceiving. That was definitely kalbi and not bulgogi. Nicely marinated chunks of rib meat here, although I do think that kalbi marinade is a tad on the salty side. A refreshing crunch coming from the cucumber. In general, this is pretty good. Not a bad little kalbi burrito here. Now all of their sushi burritos are served with some French fries. Let's see how these are. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now we have something like a truffle oil fry here, and while typically I'm not a huge fan of this particular style, they were quite reserved with the amount of oil they used, and so you're still able to get the starchy flavors of the potato. That's well balanced. Nice job with the fry on these also. Crispy exterior, pillowy center, always important for a French fry, and they are well seasoned. I'm really hesitant when it comes to truffle oil, but so far they've been pretty mindful with their usage here. A nice and solid French fry. All right, everyone, now the last bite I'm trying from this Japanese round of food is going to be the namesake Su Casa roll. I see tuna, avocado, and some eel sauce. Oh, there's eel on the top here also. It's sushi time. Yes, that's good. This is a very solid sushi roll. I've already tried the rice with the burrito, and so I know it's good. A very nice rice for the sushi. Now the tuna is the same from the poke nachos earlier, and it's still quite good here. Mild flavor, firm texture. I like the fish. Unfortunately, I can't say I taste too much of the eel here, and the signature richness that you typically get is taken over by the avocado, but it's not missed too much because that smoky eel sauce reminds you that it is there. There's also some fried leeks here providing some texture crunch as well as a little bit of an additional nutty flavor. This is good. Actually, a nice little sushi roll here. I like this. All right, my friends, now that's all of the Japanese food I'm trying here at Su Casa today. A few more bites. I'm going to box up what I can to go, and then we'll do our Mexican round next. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. And welcome back, my friend. This is all looking really tasty. Let's give it a try. First up, carne asada. I've made myself a little carne asada taco here with rice, beans, and pico de gallo. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, that's good. Kicking things off, I actually really like the carne asada here. A tender cut of beef and much more juicy than some of the other beef counterparts I've had tonight. And so off the bat, that's already very enjoyable. Well seasoned with a little bit of a smoky flavor, although lacking a little bit of tang and depth that I've had in previous carne asadas. Really good rice and beans here at Mi Casa. A well seasoned rice, nice flavors there. A little bit savory, a slight sweetness from the tomato, creamy and rich refried beans with a little bit of salinity from the cheese, offering its earthy flavors to this taco is very nice, and a nice freshness from this pico de gallo, a little bit of bite coming from that raw onion. This is working really well. Pretty solid carne asada here, I like this. Next up, the quesabirria taco. I'm a huge fan of quesabirria tacos, and this is usually my go-to order when I come here to Mi Casa. We'll give it a dip into the consomme, Here's the quesadilla taco. Oh, it's very good. Really great quesadilla tacos here at Mi Casa. A beautifully crispy tortilla shell offers a nice crunch. Though it is fairly on the oily side, this is a very rich dish. Incredibly tender and juicy birria meat here. The meat is so soft, it just disintegrates as soon as you bite into it. A savory, smoky flavor has permeated into this beef. A very nice depth of flavor here, it's so good. A thick layer of mild cheese here provides some additional salinity and richness. And the flavor of the consomme is wonderfully deep, savory, smoky, just a little bit spicy, with an almost umami-like quality. It makes these tacos taste so great. Big fan of the quesadilla tacos here at Mi Casa. I always love these. Next up, we're doing the tamales. Certainly a big fan of tamales. And the one here at Mi Casa is looking great. I haven't had this before. Let's see how the tamales are. Yes, that's good. I must say, I really enjoy the exterior of this tamale. Soft and rich, I actually really like this cornmeal encasing. A natural sweetness from that corn absolutely makes itself known here. A great start to the tamale. We have pork inside the tamale and it's very good. Super tender, really soft, and a moist pork meat here also. Braised in a nice deep chili broth, this has a lot of flavor. The whole bite was made very rich with the amount of cheese as well as sour cream, and a bit of a sweet, spicy richness coming from the enchilada sauce on top. It all comes together very well. I like this, I'm a fan of the tamale. Next up, we're going in on a 3-item combo. I got a ground beef taco as well as their crispy chicken tinga and a cheese enchilada. These are usually served with rice and beans, however I didn't want to waste too much of their food, so I opted without on this plate. I think I want to kick things off with the enchilada, and I've got a nice little chunk on the fork here. I love a good enchilada. Let's see how the enchiladas here at Mi Casa. Yes, that's good. A very rich enchilada here. Lots of cheese is present. Now this is a jack cheese with peppers. I actually really like the flavor. It adds a nice little kick to the enchilada. They're using something like a smoked tomatillo sauce here. I believe using the same base as the salsa verde from earlier. It is good. A bit of a smoky flavor to it, as well as a sour tang. I did mention earlier that I think it was a little heavy-handed with the acid, but it's working really well here in the enchilada. I like the enchilada here. Next up, the chicken tinga taco. I got this one in a hard shell, and I love a good chicken tinga. Let's see how this is. Yeah, that's good. This is the same tortilla shell that they use for the quesadilla tacos, and so you know I loved it already. And so we're off to a great start. The chicken here is actually very moist, very tender, with a slightly tangy and sweet flavor to it. It's been braised very well in a tomato-based broth. A nice salinity from the cheese here, and some freshness from the lettuce. A very nice chicken taco that, I like it a lot. All right, my friends, now the last bite I'm trying today from Mi Casa Su Casa is gonna be the ground beef taco. Now you have a choice between ground beef and shredded beef. I went with ground beef today in a soft shell tortilla. Here's the ground beef taco. Yeah, not bad. A perfectly fine tortilla here. Pliable, just a little bit of char, holding together the taco very well. A perfect vessel here. The lettuce, pico de gallo, and cheese are working just fine. A little bit of freshness and salinity respectively. All of that is great. Now the ground beef here is quite tasty. Not dry by any means, still very moist. And it's well seasoned, however a bit too well seasoned. I think it's over salted. That's probably the one aspect I'm not enjoying too much, but otherwise this is pretty good. In general, a totally fine beef taco. All right, everyone, now that's all of the food I'm trying today. I am super stuffed, so I think just a few more bites, I'm gonna box this all to go, and then we'll do a little bit of dessert. Don't go anywhere, because sweets are coming up. Welcome back, my friends. Now all of the food is packed up and ready to go, so it's time for some dessert. Let's see what they're offering for sweets. So here is your dessert menu at Mi Casa. Looks like they have a chocolate cake, deep fried ice cream, flan, churros, and a sundae for two. Not entirely sure what I feel like today. Maybe something very traditional, I think. This little dessert menu here at Mi Casa. I'm gonna get my order in, but for all of you at home, I'm gonna make that dessert appear right now. And here it is, everyone. I got their flan. Now this is the first time I've seen a bowl like this, perfect for flan. I'll get a nice little spoonful here. Now I gotta admit, I am super stuffed, but there's always some room for sweets, right? Let's activate the dessert stomach and give this a shot. Okay, that's really good. This is a fantastic flan. I absolutely love the texture here. It's creamy, but still firm. There's definitely some structure to this. Not mushy by any means. I actually really like the flan. A beautiful nutty caramelized flavor here. With some additional vanilla flavors, you can actually see the cracks of vanilla bean and an airy sweetness coming from the whipped cream here. I must admit this is quite a sweet dessert, but it's actually really nice after so many rich foods. A very nice way to end the meal. I like the flan today. All right, everyone, now that's going to do it for my dinner here at Mi Casa Su Casa at the Silverton, Las Vegas. Everything you saw in the video today came out to $260 before tip, and I certainly had a good time. I really liked that chicken tortilla soup, but the elote bowl was absolutely my favorite appetizer of the day. And from the round of Japanese food, I was actually very surprised with how much I like those ahi poke nachos. The quesabita tacos were my favorite today, but that's what I get here all the time. And I was very surprised by how good the flan was. All in all, if you're looking for some Mexican or Japanese food here at the Silverton, this is what you can expect at Mi Casa Su Casa. All right, everyone, now that's going to do it for this Tuesday video where I check out a local spot here in the Las Vegas Valley. Coming this Saturday, I return to my quest to vlog every restaurant on the Las Vegas Strip as well as downtown. Make sure you come back for that one. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great weekend, and I hope you enjoy Vegas with me, Shin. Bye.